Hey folks, and welcome to Truck King. This is the all-new redesigned 2023 Ford Super Duty. And in this video, we're actually looking at an affordable version of this truck with a gas engine. And I happen to think this might be the best model in the lineup, and I'm going to tell you why. What is the exact model we have here? Well, this is an F-250 XL, that's the base model with the STX package, and that STX package brings along a whole bunch of things, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But let's start with what's under the hood, and this is the base engine. This is a 6.8 liter V8. It makes 405 horsepower, 445 pound-feet of torque, and it's sent through a 10-speed automatic. And no, this is not the Godzilla 7.3 liter. For 2023, Ford is offering two different gas engines. So now let's talk about the package. This is the STX package, and basically it's bringing some style and some comfort to the base model truck. So when I say style, I'm talking about the painted grille, the body color bumpers. We're getting unique LED headlights here as well. It definitely makes the truck look a little nicer than sort of your typical base work truck. And I think that's what a lot of guys are looking for. They want the functionality of a work truck, but a little bit more styling than what is usually offered. So as we roll around the side of the truck, the other thing we have here, a set of blacked out wheels. I think those are pretty sharp, especially on our white truck. I always like to call it the Stormtrooper spec, and that's what this looks like here. The towing mirrors up here, also part of the package. We have running boards on our truck. Those are a standalone option, but it is nice to have. And then we get back to a couple new features for 2023. Here's the first one, this big bed step. So of course, look how high this bed is. I stand at 6'2", and it's chest height on me, so I can just touch the floor in there, but just barely. If you have something in the middle of that bed, I can now get up and actually reach it. That's a smart feature. I appreciate that they did that. Now the other step they added, the corner bumper step. And yes, of course, General Motors kind of made this feature famous, but everyone's doing their own version of it, and it also just works really, really well. It's always there, needs no setting up. I like that. Now, if you don't want to use the bumper step, Ford still has the tailgate step as well. So now you have multiple options how you access the bed on your Super Duty. Now, talking about the bed, we get the box link system here, also part of the STX package. That's all of those cleats up there, which are removable, and you can add different accessories in there from the Ford accessories catalog. And then, Dad, one of the features I like the most, right over here, Pro Power onboard. Yes, the Super Duties now have Pro Power. This is only 2 kilowatts of power, but still nice to have 2 kilowatts and nice to be able to plug your things in right on the side of your truck. Now, what else? The tailgate, a couple of things have been adapted from the F-150, like the ruler along the edge, and then there's little tie downs over here too, so you can tie things down at the back of your tailgate. Not a ton of huge upgrades to the bed here, but a lot of little things which are going to make it that much more convenient. Let's talk towing and payload. For the tow rating on this truck, first I want to mention that the gross vehicle weight rating is 9,900 pounds here, so a true 3/4 ton truck. And the tow rating here for our truck with the 373 rear end comes in at 14,100 pounds. And then talking about payload here on our door jamb sticker, this is a pretty good number, 3,123 pounds of payload. Alrighty folks, now here we are driving in this F-250. So I showed you some of the features there, but I want to go on a little bit more about the package, Dad, because I think it's kind of a unique spec, so I want to be very specific on what we get here. So the STX package is only available on the XL, so it's only available on the base model. And again, the whole point here is to bring along a bunch of style and convenience so it doesn't look like a basic work truck, right? So I'll just read real quick. It includes the 360-degree camera package, auto high beams, blind spot with cross-traffic alert, the box link system, reverse brake assist, reverse sensing system, body color bumpers, the cloth 40-20-40 split bench, which is up here in the front, driver side manual lumbar support, floor covering and color coordinated carpet floor mats, LED box lighting, LED fog lamps, LED reflector headlamps, painted grille, fender badges, upgraded interior door panels, 18-inch black wheels, and a set of upgraded all-terrain tires.
Are you out of breath now?
Yeah, it's a huge package. Here in Canada, the package is worth over $5,000, so it's not, you know, absolutely affordable. But again, it brings along so much stuff, and I said it off the top, I'll say it again. I think Ford looked at their truck buyers and said, a lot of guys want basic trucks. We hear it in the comments all the time. I think it's true. A lot of people who really work with their trucks, they still want base. However, we all know as humans, most of us don't want base to look base. We want it to look a little nicer. We want to look back over our shoulder as we walk away from it. And that's what I think this truck right here as it sits is all about.
I tend to agree. I mean, first of all, shout out to Ford Canada for giving us a base truck.
True.
This is so unusual,
yeah,
as anybody who watches our channel knows. And it makes sense because they will always spec out the top of the line truck to give to journalists for a simple reason, because they want you to experience all the doodads that they have. However, there's not that many people that buy the top end trucks. So, you know, one more time, I'm really happy to be in a base truck for a change, because this now is the question. In this day and age where everybody seems to want something upscale, can we still live in a base truck? Because frankly, this is the same truck that fleet buyers are buying, yeah, 50 and 100 at a time.
Yeah.
With the exception of the package that Stephen just alluded to. So I've been driving this all week, and I'll tell you that I am perfectly happy with this truck. Little things like, geez, I actually got to put a key in the ignition and turn it to start this truck. I don't got a push button. I don't miss that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I've got a column shifter, PRNDL. It's old school. It works. I'm fine with it. I still have things like a tilt wheel. You know, I still have the air conditioning. There's something that used to be a big option, not anymore. And there's lots of space, lots of cubbies. The seats are comfortable. Everything about this truck works just fine. And then you get the little extras, particularly the camera system, which is very cool.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice to have, and that's one of those things where even on a work truck, it feels necessary these days because these trucks are so dang big.
Exactly, and that's the one thing here that you're going to notice is that this is a tall truck.
Oh yeah.
Hence the reason that we showed off all the different steps, and quite frankly, you need them if you're going to be in and out of that bed quite a bit.
Yeah, that's definitely true too. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about this V8. This is the base 6.8 liter V8. They actually introduced this new for 2023, and they added a gas engine. They came out with that 7.3 liter Godzilla, they call it, V8, a couple years ago now. And everyone sort of said, well, there we go. Ford's got a new heavy-duty V8 for, you know, the next decade. And yet then 2 years later, we get this 6.8 liter. So I think it's a bit of an interesting strategy. I personally think it was, again, to lower that base price, to give you, maybe for fleet buyers too, right? To kind of give them another option underneath the 7.3. But outside of that, Dad, let's talk power. It's over 400 horsepower. It's no slouch. What have you been feeling out of the engine?
As far as power delivery is concerned, there's plenty of it.
Yeah.
It comes on when you need it. And, you know, I can say that driving empty, big whoop, right? However, yesterday, we moved a couple of trees out of Matthew's place. You know, that's a decent load.
Yeah.
And the engine was not strained in the least.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I felt the same way. And I think that's the key too, is like there was a day when going for the base engine, you felt like you were being cheated out of something because you really were down on power. And today with over 400 horsepower out of your base, it doesn't feel that way. So
Yeah, and I just want to throw one thing in here, because you mentioned the Godzilla engine, and I understand that from your way of thinking, you're thinking that this engine was built for the Super Duty exclusively, but that's not actually the case, because Ford supplies a lot of chassis cabs as well as RV chassis.
Sure.
And for the longest time, they had a V10.
That's
Okay.
gone now.
And when that went away, that's what the 7.3 was for, was to replace that. So the 7.3 goes into all those van body cutaways, utility vehicles, ambulances, various other things that they sell to people, and to the motorhome industry. And Ford sells a lot of chassis to the motorhome industry.
Yeah, so one more option for them too. Right?
Exactly. However, the 6.8 made more sense for pickup trucks, because the 7.3 actually is hauling a hell of a lot more weight.
Gotcha. And let's talk about price. So this truck, the base XL, the base MSRP on this truck here in Canada is around $67,000. So yes, it's expensive to start. And then once you add on all the options we have here today, because we have STX and then we have a couple other things like Pro Power on board, we're into this truck for right around $79,000 Canadian. So like Dad said, that doesn't feel like an incredibly affordable number, but there's a ton of half tons that are going to sell right in that $80,000 range. And you're right, if you bump up to this truck, you're going to be getting significantly more capability. So that's what you have to ask yourself, you know, what are you doing with your truck and what's going to work for you?
Yeah, I mean, if you even consider Super Duty, then you're the kind of guy that needs this. So it's nice to know that, you know, you don't have to go over $100,000 to get into a F-250.
Yeah. One other feature I want to mention is what Ford calls the workstation. Now again, this has been adopted from the F-150. They've brought it up here to the Super Duty. It makes sense. Again, this is the kind of truck where you're probably working. And the idea is that you have this flat little table down here beside you. So if you have a laptop, you could put it here. You could put your tablet here. This slides forward and back, so you can kind of set it up where you want it. And then most importantly, when it's lunchtime, oh, it just got mad at me. It says stow work surface before driving.
Yeah, it says you can't have that over like that when you're driving.
It wasn't happy. But anyways, like I was saying, I think most importantly, Dad, it's a nice little cheeseburger tray for when lunchtime comes.
I knew that would be your motivation.
So yes, that's pretty cool. I like having the little work surface there. And legitimately, I think a laptop is the main kind of focus of it. If you had your laptop in here, it makes it a heck of a lot easier. I have personally, many times, been sitting in a parking lot doing this on my laptop, having it kind of resting on the steering wheel in front of me, and then I'm doing T-Rex arms because I had to go get Wi-Fi from the Starbucks. And anyway, so I personally have done this. I know what a pain it can be to use a computer in your vehicle, so I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We actually had so many people there helping us, and we had to move them all, so we got 6 people in this truck.
Yeah.
We put 3 Elmers across the bench. You can see it here.
Yep.
And then we had 3 helpers in the back. So literally, we used it very much like a work crew would use it. And again, it did everything we needed it to do. And then, Dad, once again, we come back to the fact that when you're just driving like this, it's pretty comfortable, quiet, no issue. You got all the features you want. Yeah, a base truck is just so not what even I think about a base truck is.
No,
these days,
we talk about base truck, and it depends on how old you are. This is not a base truck. I grew up with no headliners, steel dash, and, you know, rubber floor mat.
Exactly. Yeah, no, we're so far beyond that. Even to the point where this is an 8-inch touchscreen. And, you know, even in my career in this industry, I've been doing this 10 years. When I first started, 8-inch touchscreens were like, oh my gosh, you have an 8-inch screen? That's massive. That's crazy.
Huge, right?
And now we're to the point where the base vehicle gets the 8-inch. And then if you upgrade, you get the massive 12-inch screen. So, yeah, definitely doesn't feel base inside, but then yeah, it does all the work you want out of a Super Duty. So
and I think that's the case. And let's throw this right out there. A lot of guys watching this will not appeal to you. Will not appeal to you. But if you're that guy and you want the capability, particularly for towing, skip the half ton if you're anywhere near those limits, because there's so much baloney around how much half tons will tow.
Yeah.
Okay? Just go right for the 3/4.
Well, folks, we are coming to the end of this one. Now, overall, I think the changes that have arrived for 2023 to the Super Duty are actually thoughtful for everyday use. And then more specifically, this model we have here, I think it just checks the boxes for a lot of truck buyers. It offers you capability, but also that style and comfort. And really, that's what we're all looking for. Plus, it won't break the bank. So now, of course, I need to hear from you. So please go in the comments. Let us know what you think of this Ford F-250. And don't worry, we're going to be testing more trim levels and more engines of this Super Duty real soon. So keep it locked to the channel for those trucks. But until then, leave us that comment, hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See ya.